Hello, investors. It is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Monday, October 7th, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Coming to you with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state continued to be in an uptrend. If we look at the trend gauge here on the right side, market leaders, we have the green arrow, and that's basically we're judging the stock action and leading sectors in stocks. So we have the green arrow there. Short term, this is our 21 EMA, green arrow there. Medium term, this is our 50-day moving average, green arrow. And then long term, we are trading above the 200-day moving average. So what happened today? Well, we got a bit of a volatility surge. VIX was up 18%, but the bottom line is the S&P held that 5690 key level that we continue to focus on. So here are the final numbers: 21 over 21 list, flat on the day, 8 green, 2 neutral, 11 red. Big 8 down 1.88% on the day, and big name Microsoft closing below the 200-day today. RG8 down 0.75%. S&P down about 1%, equal weight down 0.78%, QQQ down 1.07%, equal weight down 0.85%, Dow Jones down 0.9%, mid caps down 0.68%, Russell 2000 down 0.77%, 60/40 down 0.5%, and in-house GROTECTION down 0.75%. So let's get into the inter-asset correlation as usual, and we'll start with the chart of the S&P 500. So a little bit of volatility here today, breaking the 8 EMA, but overall holding above the 21-day. And as long as this 5690 and this top of the base holds, nothing really to be too concerned about. And if we look at the 60-minute, right, 5700, 5690. We closed above 5690. So that's good. And kind of we're just in this, kind of 60-minute range here. The upper end of the range has been getting sold into, and then this bottom of the range has held for now. So we want to see that 5690 level hold along with the 21-day. And then you have some support at 5651 along with 5670. RSP pulling back into the 21-day, but overall still constructive. QQQ. So on Friday, we broke back above that 485.54 pivot. Today, coming back in, but minor volatility, but the big picture still looks good here. Obviously, if we break this 21-day on volume decisively and roll back over, opinions, what the market's telling us would change, but still seeing this as a volatility contraction pattern. This is the third contraction in a multi-month base. So as long as it doesn't leak too much lower, this is just normal price action. Dow Jones pulling back to the 21-day. Mid caps kind of forming a flag here. Obvious resistance here that it rejected. And, when you see things run 8-9 days in a row into an overhead resistance, that's not really a breakout you want to buy. So you look for the pullback and rest, and then offers a better risk to reward, and things need to digest before moving higher. Russell 2000, similar look, sitting right at the 21-day. You have the 50-day support below, and would like to see this get back above 2200. And you got a bit of a declining tops trend line here, and still this is showing a bit of VCP characteristics. See, this third contraction is much tighter than the previous two. VIX, so not exactly what the bulls want to see. A decisive close above 20. And, I know people say don't do technical analysis on the VIX, but clearly 20 has some meaning to it. Got back above, so expect more intraday range, more volatility. And, this 2376 was that prior high. So if it comes into there and rejects, that could, set the stage for a rebound in the indexes and be a good risk to reward. But another thing I read today was also that VIX tends to be elevated in election periods, and that's 1 month out. And then plus you got to factor in the Middle East stuff going on, and then also, this new Hurricane Milton that's coming in, and just a lot of things that can hit the news wire. The dollar still, the market isn't taking this too negatively, but after 5, 6 days up in a row, putting a tight inside day. So we took this off the keys, but we're still monitoring this. GLD, still not really phased by the dollar strength, kind of just forming a declining tops trend line here. A bit extended though. Gold stocks pulling back to the 50-day, showing a relative weakness. Looks like a fouled breakout here. Silver, again, ran too fast in this 30 level, pulling back. We'll see, maybe it handles out here. Bitcoin strong again today. Show this weekly as a big declining trend line here that would love to see this break back above, but this is still showing risk on and still in this pretty big base. So the kind of want to focus more. The daily can be a bit of a headache looking at this, and the weekly gives it a better picture. Um, Bonds, yeah, getting smoked, broke the 50-day and continue lower. TLT as well, all the way down back into the 200-day. And then you look at rates. This is another thing to keep an eye on. They're showing follow through out of this inverse head and shoulders bottoming pattern. So if strength continues here, could spill and start to see weakness in small caps and other rate sensitive sectors, TNX as well. And we've already seen that real estate almost breaking the 50 now, and this was a clear leading sector. Zillow was a stock we were watching, and you can see it's just really pulled back aggressive. And then you can look at like regional banks. They look all right. That's a rate sensitive sector. XBI again, a lot of people are excited about this base breakout through 103, including myself, but now this is pulling back in and rates getting a bid isn't going to help the biotech sector. So that's the inter-asset correlation. Pull up the towel, the tape, and we'll go through this. So let's see. News-wise, mentioned that Middle East conflict. Any piece of news can hit at any time. So there is that risk in the market right now. CPIs on Wednesday along with FOMC minutes, and then PPI Thursday. So those keys we were mentioning. Good to see the S&P 500 hold that 5690 and close above. 5671's that support below if 5690 doesn't hold. And then the QQQ, they did reject that 485.54 cup and handle pivot. And then into tomorrow, we're still watching those same things, but we're keeping an eye on VIX versus 20. Want to see this get back below 20, and then also that 23 level. If it rejects there, that would be, a positive, and then see it spill down below 20. Back below the 8 EMA, still above the 21. And then sectors wise, continue to see strength in China. And then with the Middle East, obviously seeing oil very strong. Crude oil was up 4%, energy, Bitcoin, and then weakness. Insurance was pretty weak today. Uranium, utilities, seeing stocks like VST get a bit of a breather as they've had a pretty big run here. And then XBI weak as well. In-house today, we bought a starter in Instacart, ticker CART, and then we sold the rest of our Tesla and trimmed some of the S&P exposure as it was breaking that level, but eventually was able to reclaim. Bottom line, VIX surges 18%, but the S&P holds that 5690 key level. So let's get into some charts of interest. Alrighty. Let's start. New week, new 21 over 21 list. So let's get into that. First name, MSTR, just huge relative strength versus Bitcoin itself. And the price action alone tells you this is the stock you want to own for Bitcoin upside. Continue to hold this in-house, and obviously broke this base, but this 180 level has a lot of eyes on it. But one thing to be aware of is this is up 5 weeks in a row into a 180/200 level. So wouldn't be surprised to see this pull back a little bit and kind of handle out a little bit more. But this name has a ton of beta, so kind of sometimes can go on some big moves like you've seen there. Instacart, we added this today as well. Just pretty textbook IPO base, started to handle out, and then super strong through the handle on volume. good numbers, really good action on this one here. And really, once it's above the IPO close, but once it gets above that IPO high, then it's into all-time highs, no overhead resistance. NVIDIA was flexing today. I think everyone around the world that trades saw this declining trend line. It got back above and then ran into that 130 level, which is, obvious resistance, backed off into the end of the day. But nevertheless, it's good to see this start participating and shaping up. And this chart looks great. Weekly looks even better as well. So be good to see it close back above this and then, break the cycle of lower highs. VRT, another leader, is breaking out of this cup and handle ish looks a little bit. You can argue it's a little bit extended, so we'll see. Maybe it handles out a little bit more, but that 100 level on any pullback would like to see hold. FCX, copper name showing a bid recently, and SCCO is another one that kind of moves in unison here. But this is forming a nice looking flag. XOM. It's about ExxonMobil. This is about the best oil name from a chart perspective and continues higher. And if we look at this weekly, this has got a really nice weekly base that it's trying to break out of. So definitely interesting to watch moving forward if the crude oil stocks continue strong. Uber, still in the space. You got this big kind of level here that is right there, close right at it today. But this is chart spacing really nice. IoT, nice, held the 21 day. I'm putting in a pretty tight day today. SFM, this is just a serial trender stock. Good action there. Coherent, hit that pivot plus 22% level and kind of pulled back a little bit, but this one looks good. If it can handle out and consolidate, that'd be nice. Axon, super strong. This one's obviously got the security angle and, kind of fits in with the military stocks, but continues to move higher. Kava, acting fine. Good response off the 21 day, especially on that news. Oracle, getting super tight here. FFIV, it's got a declining tops trend line here. Flutter, as long as it holds above 226.40, this one looks good along with the 21 day. C Limited, super strong, clear leader here. It's just a bit extended, so a little more consolidation would be favorable. The GWRE just trending higher after that earnings gap. Shark Ninja trending higher after that earnings gap. CEG, I mentioned utilities were down today, and the stock theme got super excited super quick, and normal to see these pull back. I'll show a chart of VST. Again, got pretty extended pulling back, but normal action. GEV, toss that in the list. This one's barely budging with a tight inside day and holding above that mini box that it broke out from on Friday. Palantir, not letting anyone in since this S&P inclusion gap trending higher. And then Tesla sold this one today. Just, meandering at the 21 day here, had a strong run into that 265 level. And now it's pulling back. See if it handles out and offers a more favorable risk to reward entry. And then something to note is that robotaxi event that they have on October 10th. So likely bring some volatility into the stock. Take a look at the big eight. So besides NVIDIA, you imagine that if NVIDIA wasn't up today, tech would have been down even more. So look at Microsoft. This is breaking the 200 day. Really needs a stick save here soon or else, it's kind of looking like a big head and shoulders top a little bit, but would like to see this get back above the 200 day. Meta's one of the leaders here, normal pullback today. Apple, keep an eye on this upper trend line that it's kind of breaching off that August low, and it's losing the 50 day. Google, really no love for here. Charts kind of in no man's land. Netflix, another leader, kind of setting up for the next move higher. 700 is the top of that previous base as well. Amazon got hit with the downgrade this morning back into the 200 day. And then Tesla, I just covered. So yeah, so I just wanted to go over some of those big tech names. And then if we look at one thing I did want to mention, if you've been following us for a while, you know Generac's been in and out of the 21 over 21 list, but super notable today. RS line, blue dot, new high, breaking out of this stage one weekly base, volume there. So this really checks all the boxes for a breakout. Volume, relative strength line, big base. And then part of the reason why this is moving is the hurricane stuff. This stock tends to do well, and you can look at other whatever you want to call it, hurricane trade stocks. Home Depot, this has been running as well, and then BECN, this is Beacon Roofing, big move above the 200-day today on volume. So, if this keeps to pick up, keep an eye on some of these stocks, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. So that is going to wrap it. As I always like to hear from you. My email is connor@revereasset.com. And then you can always reach out to Dan or Don at revereasset.com. Phone is 855 Real Wealth. That is 855-732-5932. And if you're ever interested in becoming a client, please reach out. And with that, I'll wrap it for Monday, October 7th. This is Connor Bates with Revere Asset Management, telling it like it is. Thanks for listening. Have a good night.